Hello everyone, today we're at the Toby Carvery car park. This is used by both Chingford and Loughton test centres. It's the one in Buckhursthill. What we're going to do is go around to the back as we're going to be practicing a couple of times. Be in the lower gear whenever you're in a car park because the space is going to be relatively small and it's going to have other parked cars in the area as well. Avoid the empty bays. You've got to treat them like there's cars in there, even though there isn't any, for purposes of the test. So keep to a good driving position, keep your speed down. We're just going to pause for a moment as I go over the reference points with the person practicing before we begin. So once the reference points have been established, it's time to practice the maneuver. This is a reverse left. You end up going 3 bays back from the white line that you start from. On the test, you're not going to do an angled reverse bay park. It's less challenging than that. You should have good amounts of space, which is why I'm like, you could drive around to the back if it's relatively busy. It has to be really extenuating to sort of go in between two cars. It also makes it easier for when you want to exit the parking space. So here I've just going to let the person know they've got to go back a little bit more. You've got to get the front wheels into the bay as well. It's not enough to just be lined up. All 4 tyres have to be in the parking space. So they've just got to go back a little bit more and to fulfill the requirements of the bay parking manoeuvre. So once we have our reference points established, we start practicing the reverse right bay park. Always go for an empty space without a car either side of you. It makes it less challenging. You don't get any extra points for going in between cars. So try not to. The car parks tend to have quite a few spaces to choose from. So choose the least challenging one to use. So here the person's being observant. There's someone going into their car. They're going to go around to the boot, it looks like. So you want to make sure no one's walking past the car. So this is relatively safe to do. It shows you're being observant. You make sure the person's going nowhere near us when we start reversing. A lot of people look at the driving test as a driving test, but it's also a safety test first and foremost. And as long as you're a safe driver, you should pass your driving test. Once the person's gone, they've got a bit more confidence now to carry on reversing. We're checking the wing mirrors to make sure you're in the space, and now it's a case of reversing more to get all 4 wheels into the parking space. You want to keep your speed low here as we have a vehicle behind us. Don't floor it. That's just going to put the examiner off and they're probably going to hit the brakes. So less space, less speed. Keep it nice and gentle and have the car reverse back into the parking space. Once you're in the space, what you can do is secure the car, handbrake neutral, open the doors to have a look that you're within the lines. If you're really not sure, you can exit the vehicle, walk around to make sure that you are in the parking space before carrying on. If it's a nice examiner, they'll probably say thank you very much, drive on when you're ready, but don't expect that. I always recommend checking yourself to make sure that you are in the space. If you weren't in the space, you would be allowed to correct that mistake and before you complete the maneuver essentially. So make sure you're in the space before you say you're finally done. Now we're going to exit the car park. The exit is different from the entrance, so you're going to see us follow it around here. Being mindful of the empty bays, as I was saying earlier, you might catch it a little bit if it's really tight, but just don't blatantly go right over the empty bays. You will get in trouble. Make sure you check to the right here. That's where you'd drive round if you didn't go around to the back to do your maneuver. As you exit, if you did go around the back, make sure you are checking left and right, especially to the right as cars could be driving in. Keep your speed low once again, less space, less speed. give yourself enough time to react. As you go around to the right, keep left a little bit more so you can poke your head round and see if anyone's coming. Give yourself again enough time to react. You would be guided out of the car park as well. You wouldn't be left to figure it out, especially if it's your first time going in there, but do try and get some practice in there in case it comes up. It's a closed junction, exiting this car park, so take your time with it. Peep and creep if you need to, as much as you can, and then once you're stopped, get your back of the seat, lean forward, make sure you can check left and right to make sure nobody's coming if you need to, especially if some of the plants have overgrown. Once you have a good amount of space, exit the car park, and that was the Toby Carvery car park.